Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of Live Large Universe. We are right here, right now, on YouTube for the very first time, and we are excited, very excited to have all of you on. Appreciate you being here today. Come on in. We're going to be bringing up Jessica Osborne here in just a minute, and hopefully we'll get some people coming in to watch the show. So appreciate you guys jumping on here, and we're going to go ahead and drop down the counter and drop down the logo. So what I want to share with everybody is, looks like we got some viewers starting to pop in. Appreciate that, guys. Everybody come on in. And if you wouldn't mind, if you're watching, feel free to share this on other social media channels. Share this out on anywhere that you think people would add some value. We'll tell you a little bit about what the show's about tonight, and we're excited to kick off an entire new series. This is episode 1 of Live Large Universe, and so we've got oh, look at that. Sorry about that. See, technical difficulties. All right, we'll kill the music. Fly Racing Goggles is putting up some goggles. Fly Racing Snow is putting up some goggles that are here for you guys just for getting in the comments. So if you can go in here, feel free if you're watching. In the comments, I'm going to be tracking all the comments, and anybody who's chiming in the comments, I'm going to add you to a list, and you're going to be in there. You're seeing comments is my way of verifying that you're here watching the live, so I appreciate you guys jumping in and seeing that. And then if you share it out on social media too, tag me in it. If I see you've shared it out and you've tagged me in it so I can see it, please feel free to jump in there too, and we'll include you guys in our share contest that we have here as well. So Jessica, I'm going to go ahead and bring you up here in just a second. If you want to come up, we're going to bring you up in 3, 2, and 1. You can come right off mute. How are you doing tonight?
So good. How are you?
Very good, very good. So this is, we probably owe it to some of the viewers who may stumble across this for the first time, because we're now starting today officially on YouTube. We got a new channel premise. So there's a lot going on. And so do you mind if I share with everybody a little bit about kind of what we're intending to do with this show series? Should we do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So everybody knows, hopefully, if they've followed me for a little while, they've heard of this phrase called live large. And what I tell everybody live large is it's living life to the fullest. You can see I've got my Canadian version on today, live life to the fullest, right up here on the shirt. Make the most of every day and make a difference to others, right? And so through what we've done with our old show with John Free and Live, we talked a lot about safety and education, and I kind of continue to hope to do that, but I really wanted to embrace this idea of live large and what things are about. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of bring folks forward and highlight guests like you who, I've gotten to know you over the last several years. And, when I think of all the people who, man, they live life to the fullest, they make the most of every day, and they're making a difference in other people's lives. Like, I went through my short list and like, who do I want first? And you were the first one I reached out to. So take that for what it's worth, Jessica.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And so let me just give everybody a little rundown about kind of who you are from kind of the high level, and then I'll turn it over to you to kind of maybe share a little bit more, maybe some background on how you got into some things. But, Jessica lives in Salt Lake City as a co-owner of Tracked Out Adventures. And so that's some of your intro. I'd love to have you tell us a little bit more about what Tracked Out Adventures is and what it's all about. We'll get into that. You've been married to DJ Osborne for 12 years, and you guys have 2 sons together. That's amazing. And you're by day, to keep the lights on, also on top of being a business owner, paralegal, right? In a well-known law firm there in the Salt Lake City area. And of course, my favorite part is a true hardcore adventurist and the most amazing mom and wife ever, I'm sure, right?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's awesome. And so I've gotten to know you just a little bit. Actually, I originally kind of interacted with DJ, your husband, first, and just through coordinating. But the first time I got to meet you in person was my wife and I were on a trip across the country. I think it was about 3 summers ago. I don't think it was 4 yet. And we actually rented, through Tracked Out Adventures, we rented a side-by-side, and we went up with DJ for the day. And at the end of the day, we were lucky enough to come down to Park City, I believe it was where we were, and we had dinner together, got to meet the kids and the puppy and all those exciting things. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
fell in love with you guys' family, like, immediately. Like, you guys are such an adventure family, and truly live large, as we'll get into tonight. So
Thank you. Yeah, no, that was a really good time. I'm glad
yeah.
you were able to come out, and we've hung out again even since then.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we came back. When did we get together? Oh, a Salt Lake City snow show. When did we get to hang out again? I'm trying to remember.
It
My
was last
brain,
year, wasn't
was
it?
it last year? I don't know, probably. Oh yeah, we did the cornhole game in the backyard in Salt Lake. That's right. I remember we got
Yep.
together there again. So, but anyway, so tell us a little bit more about just kind of you and your business and what's going on too. Like maybe we just start with Tracked Out Adventures and kind of what is Tracked Out Adventures and kind of give everybody a quick rundown of what all happens there.
Yeah, sweet. So Tracked Out Adventures is actually in the winter we do snowmobile tours, and in the summer we do dirt bikes and side by side tours. And my husband, DJ Osborne, and a few other guides help us, and they show everybody a good time in Utah.
That's awesome. And so you
Yeah.
guys do it's snowmobiles, right? You said,
Yep. Snowmobiles,
and we've got dirt
dirt bikes,
bikes
and side by
and
sides.
side by sides. So you guys got all
Yes.
kinds of awesome stuff going on there. So
Yep. All the
that's
goodies.
that's awesome. And so side by sides is what I did. And I'm of course a hardcore snowmobiler. So, I haven't been down snowmobiling with you guys yet, but I've seen
You
the
should.
pictures and I follow you guys, your social media channel. It's amazing, right? And so
Thank you.
so many
Yes.
cool things there. But tonight's show really is about you, right? And I know, what do you do with Tracked Out Adventures? Like what kind of support are you within that business? And I know DJ's out there every day on the road, but you play a little bit different role kind of behind the scenes, and I think it's important people to understand how the whole business has to run regardless of whether you're out having fun riding or if you're on the back end doing some of the back end work, right?
Yes. Honestly, I joke that I'm the hype girl. I have to keep DJ hyped up.
That's awesome.
Yes. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. It's hard because my day job, of course, but
Yeah.
our main goal is to eventually get me full time and tracked out. So yeah, but I'm going to be taking over the apparel side of
Oh,
things,
very cool.
and yeah, so we'll get more hats like this, hoodies, shirts. We'll have all the goodies.
Very cool. Very cool. Where can people find that gear now? You guys have a website, I assume, right?
Yes, in fact, you can actually get these right now on trackedout.com or trackedoutadventures.com. Sorry.
Very good,
Yes.
very good, very good.
Yeah.
And so when we think about, living life to the fullest, right? I mean, I just know, like, when I think of my life, it's like, you have a day job, you get out on the weekends, I do a podcast show, I volunteer, there's a list of things that we do. And I look at your resume and all the things you're involved in, I'm thinking, like, okay, running Tracked Out Adventures, being a paralegal, like, living life to the fullest is just kind of a natural state of being for you. But kind of talk us through maybe an average week and the things that you're juggling to kind of make it all work, right? It's like just
Yes.
talk us through some of those things of like living the best, living your best life and living life to the fullest, but the reality of what does it take to make it happen, right?
Yes. Well, honestly, it takes no sleep to make it all happen. But you can sleep later in life. I mean, right now your kids are young. I feel like I don't know. I'm just the type that I just need to get out and be doing everything to make every memorable possible, like every memory possible. And so, I mean, I in a way I also have FOMO. I have a fear of missing out. And so
I
if
can
somebody
relate.
asks, yep, if somebody asks me to do something, I'm there. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
My answer is yes.
So give us an example of a recent adventure you guys as a family had gotten to get out on and to go to. I think I saw some pictures and videos of you guys doing some trips down into southern Utah and stuff too, but I don't want to steal, you guys tell me what was your favorite part in recent times of some of your family adventures you guys have been able to do together.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, actually, there was one summer that we went camping every single weekend. That was a blast. This
Awesome.
summer, with Tracked Out picking up more and more, we haven't been able to go every weekend, but we'll still go every chance that we get.
Yeah.
So, recently we went down to Bryce Canyon,
Yeah, I saw those
and
pictures.
we rode side by sides there. That was a blast. We went one day into the park, went on a hike, and it happened to dump rain on us. It was a blast, though. I mean, honestly, good. See, those are the type of memories. I'm like, you can't. That's a story we're always going to tell.
Well, and I think that's what I love about, I think, this show really is focused around power sports and living our best lives and getting out there and just kind of experiencing, like think about the things you get to see and do inside of your side by side. Like we'll get into your side by side here in just a little
Yes.
bit, but it's like, let's talk about the places you get to go and just give us an example of like your son or your husband is sitting next to you, you're out in the back, just talk us through what that's like to be able to get out there. Because I think sadly, there's a lot of people who their job is Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. In the evenings, they're like watching some TV, and on the weekends, they're just like, that's my time to sit around and relax. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you guys are missing out on the most amazing things in the world, right?
Yes.
I
See,
know
and
what
that's
that's
my
like.
time.
But
Yeah, that's
tell us what it's like for you guys on your side. So,
here's our view on things.
yeah,
That's our time to make the memories.
amen.
So, and I even have coworkers joke with me and they're like, "Well, where are you off to this weekend?" And
I know, right?
I even had another coworker joke with me and they're like, "I just saw you on Friday. Like I just saw you a couple hours ago and now here you are in like Bryce Canyon or up in Idaho or wherever." And he's like, "I just saw you a few hours ago." I'm like, "That's what we do. I will leave work on a Friday afternoon.
I
We'll
know,
go
right?
camping until Sunday, come home Sunday." And you know what? It's worth every minute.
Yeah, like what I tell people is, my day job, and probably similar to you, being a paralegal, right? Your day
Yeah.
job is your time to have mental stimulation, but physical relaxation, right? Like you can kind of just sit still, do your job. You're on the phone
Yeah.
talking to people, all those things. You're on the computer, and your body relaxes while your mind is kind of, you exercise your mind in a job like that, right? It's a lot of, intense thinking and going on and everything there. Same with my job, right? But then during the weekends and on these times off, it's like this idea that, oh my gosh, when I'm driving I'm sure for you, for me, it's a dirt bike or snowmobile, right? When you're focused on what's in front of you, what's right in front of you, and you're not having to think about, you know, paralegal stuff or Xbox
Yes.
stuff or whatever, right? All these things that we do.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And so, you know, think about the memories you're making with your kids and like tell us a story about a time where like the kids were with you and they just had this moment with you of like, mom, this is so cool, or like a time where you just looked at their faces and it was just like, take us back to a moment in time where you're like, heading down the trail and you look over and you just like, oh my gosh, this is all so worth it.
Oh, honestly, that's every moment. So Levi, for the most part, rides with me. So DJ and I both have
Yep.
two-seater side by sides. So DJ will normally take Tyson, and I'll take Levi.
Okay.
Every single moment, like we're just jamming to music, and he's singing along with me, and I just turn over and look at him, and it's such a bonding period for all of
Yeah.
us, and we're out in the middle of nowhere, no cell service. It's the best time.
Yep, yep. And then now let's go deeper into why side by sides. Like there's, you guys rent out snowmobiles, dirt bikes, and side by sides. And heck, there's all kinds of other things out there in the world that we could all participate in. But what drives you to side by side specifically?
Okay, so actually, we started in side by sides years ago,
Okay.
and back then they only had two-seaters, and so I want to say it was like 2012. I think we bought our first side by side, and
Okay.
it was a little 50-inch 800. We called it our little 800 that could, like Thomas the Train,
Nice.
because it surprisingly could do a lot. So then eventually machines got better and better, and I mean I grew up on four-wheelers, and so I've always been camping my whole life. And in fact, my family always had the motto, a family that stays together plays together. So I have the same motto with my family. And so, yeah, so our side by sides got bigger and bigger. Eventually, we got the four-seaters.
Yeah.
And then DJ, of course, when the X3 came out, he had to have the very first one in Utah.
Oh
So
yeah.
he ordered it. It only came out in a two-seater at the time. And
Gotcha.
so I'm like, well, we still need a family wagon. So I bought a four-seater. And
Okay.
then I ended up loving his side-by-side so much. I'm like, screw it. I'm getting a turbo. I'm getting one too. So
Ah,
that's
that's
when we
awesome.
ended up with both of ours.
Yeah. So describe this machine again for somebody who maybe has never done side by siding. I mean, like just describe it to somebody who has never been in a side by side, what it is that they're experiencing. Talk about like the power, the performance, the things that you can do, the capability of it, along with the ability to have the family time at the same time. Like, just what's the adventure, the thrill part of side by side riding?
Oh, it's I mean, it's hard to explain something like that because to me, it's like, I don't know. I just love side by sides. You get to go see things that you normally couldn't
Yeah.
on. I mean, and okay, here's another way I can explain it too is side by sides, you can go faster than you could on a four-wheeler. You can
Okay.
go the same places, yes, but to see more, side by side is better because you can go as fast as a Jeep, a cars, and
Yeah.
it's just an experience like any
Yeah.
like no other.
They're very capable. I mean, basically, these
Yeah,
small, lightweight vehicles have extreme capabilities. Extreme suspension that they can go, and so you're now able to like do rock crawling, or you could go blast through the
absolutely.
the mud and the water puddles down dirt roads, and there's so many amazing things that you can do and take these places. And It really does, and I think that's the thing about power sports, motorsports, backcountry power sports especially, where it takes you into these just amazing, amazing places. And like people always ask me, like, "Well, why do you love snowmobiling so much?" And same for side by sides. It's like
Yeah,
it's the idea that what, I love the thrill of the power and the performance, but really it's about that social aspect of getting out into the backcountry. It's also about being able to see the scenery. Like sometimes the best part is getting up on top of a mountain or at the base of a lake and just shutting the machine off and walking away from it and just
yep,
experiencing pure mother nature, right? And it's just in its essence. And in many cases, like there's people who, they're not able to walk or hike 30 miles in or 10 miles in or whatever it is. And for the people who are
absolutely.
hiking, like they can only hike in so fast in so many hours, and so they have limits to what they can see, right? And so it just really expands our world up to us. So
Yeah.
nope, that's awesome. That's awesome. What else we got here? I've got notes here about family time, adventure time. We have upcoming ladies ride though going on with side by sides, right? So
We do.
I've been watching you guys on your social media channel, and it's something that I caught my eye that like come ride with Jessica Osborne, from Tracked Out Adventures, and that actually was part of what I saw that kind of triggered the thought of like you would be an amazing guest to bring on, but why again, for somebody who may watch this that may not get the concept, is like why a specific ladies ride, like why a ladies ride rather than just a ride, right? I think that's something that we should explain to everybody, and then let's talk about the plan and what you got going on and kind of what you anticipate to be able to do during this ride, and to how you maybe are inspiring some of these ladies to do things they've never done before and build confidence, right?
That's actually the goal. Yes. So I actually have a lot of women like riding with their husbands, boyfriends, whatever. A lot of women that are like, I don't know how you do what you do. I don't have I don't have the balls to do stuff like that. And I'm like, well, we just got to get out and do it.
First
Like
off, you're a girl. You don't need to have the balls to do that stuff, right?
that's true. I know that's why I was stuttering. I'm like, I
I
don't know
know.
what to
I
say
know.
here.
The cojones, kind of metaphorically, right?
Exactly. Yes. And so some women are actually like terrified of it and they're like, I can only ever be a passenger. But I feel like if they ease their way into it, and if I show them, like, hey, I can do this, like, you can do this, and ease their way into it, they can do it too. And a lot of men, a lot of men actually ask me, how do I get my wife into it like you do?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to kind of put on this event and show women that they can do it too.
Yeah. And I would share from my perspective, not being a woman, but in very much encouraging and embracing the idea of my wife coming with me on all my adventures, which I'm grateful she does. There's a lot to how do you ensure that my wife or any other lady that's with you, or could be kids or anybody, right? Like how do you ensure that the person who's coming with you into these experiences, whether it be snowmobiling, dirt biking, side by sides, how do they also enjoy the experience as much as you do? Because sometimes it's fun, you grab the wheel and you go, but then they're over there, enjoying it maybe for different reasons. Maybe they're not enjoying it at all. Maybe they only enjoy it for half the day instead of a full day. And so I think allowing them to get behind the wheel and to grab the steering wheel and now have control and to kind of push themselves and feel the adrenaline of like, oh, if I make a mistake, I'm going to slip off these rocks and bang up my machine. There's all those
Yep.
things that are part of the excitement of the experience. And I think getting them behind the wheel and helping them build confidence to get them out there and experience that as well, I think it's just an amazing feat to really cause couples and women on their own to be able to feel empowered to get out and do what they can do. So
Exactly.
very good, very good. And so, we talk about living large. We've covered live life to the fullest very thoroughly, right? And now let's talk about the idea of making the most of every day. And I think you've described a lot of really amazing days. But has there ever been a time when you're out side by siding or adventuring with your family where maybe things didn't quite go as well as planned? And it was maybe a learning moment for you. Like I know I have those all the time. I could talk all night about how I've learned, recently I had a flat tire on my dirt bike, right? I dealt with that. And so for a
Yes.
future episode, but tonight's your night. So is there anything that's ever, been a big stumbling block? Maybe it's even been with the career growth of Tracked Out Adventures. Maybe it's while you're side by side, like anything's on the table. But think of a moment in time where you've had to kind of make the most of maybe not such a great day and kind of overcome some adversity in your life and, through your adventures.
We have some really good machines, but they definitely have like their days when they're just not top notch. There was a moment where we kind of made a joke that DJ always had the tire issues.
Yep, yep.
He always somehow got a hole in the tire that we had to pull over and patch it or something.
Okay,
But I remember, I remember one time specifically, it was last year that my ball joint broke. And
okay.
so we were actually hitting the dunes on the way back, luckily.
Yeah,
And I'm like, DJ, this just isn't feeling right. And, luckily women can do this too, but luckily DJ was with me that day
yeah.
because he helped me ratchet strap it all together. And so we could limp it enough back to the trailer. And yeah, I mean, you just have to make the most of it.
Well, and I
But
think
we,
if you just embrace those moments as part of the adventure, right? Like I think, for me specifically, I know like you get caught up sometimes, or I get caught up sometimes in the idea that like, living life to the fullest, sometimes you're push, 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 push. And sometimes what I've experienced is sometimes these moments where things don't always go as planned sometimes can be a little blessing in disguise. It allows you to maybe slow down a little bit, appreciate the fact that, you know what, this is bad, but I'm still out here with my family. And it gives you that moment to take maybe away from that adrenaline rush of hitting the sand dune and jumping it or whatever. But it gives you more that moment of like, I can just sit here and appreciate the fact that, I've got a husband who's here that's amazing, that's, helping me out. I've got kids here who, seem to be entertained over there in the mud puddle for now. And whatever's going
yeah,
on at the moment, and it allows you to slow down in life sometimes when you get forced into those situations. And that's really what I mean about make the most of every day, right? It's like,
absolutely.
it's great to make the most of the good days, but sometimes the bad situations, and a recent flat tire of mine, it was a great learning moment for me, and it was a great time to have some camaraderie with a friend over it, and to kind of learn from him. And it was a pretty cool experience that I had recently, that I can totally relate to what you're talking about. So
Yep.
awesome, awesome. Well, and I think the last one, like making a difference to others. I think at this point it's pretty darn apparent you've made a difference in my life. I know I can speak for DJ because I've had a lot of conversation with him, and you've made an incredible difference in his life. You're an incredible mom of two, and the fact that you're even coming on the show here to share your experiences in your life, and to hopefully maybe inspire a few other ladies, and frankly maybe even some men out there to just live their life to the fullest, and maybe try to live large a little bit, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's
Well, thank
awesome.
you.
You're very welcome. So, any other thoughts you have tonight before we start to wrap things up?
So, a little more on this ladies' ride,
Oh yeah,
though.
please do, please do.
I
Don't let
am
me.
so excited for this. So, it's
Yeah,
going to be September 16th through the 19th,
very good.
and it's going to be an all inclusive event. We got an Airbnb down in St. George,
Yep.
and it's just going to be a fun girls' weekend. We're going to ride, so everyone's going to show up Thursday night. We're going to have a full-ish day ride on Friday with like an easy to moderate level. And honestly, anyone can do these. And there's a few challenging parts though that will make you feel like, oh yeah, I got this. So then, so then we'll ride Friday, and then Saturday we'll do a half day ride to some waterfalls, and then hit the lake, go paddle boarding, and then Sunday we go home.
Very good, very good.
Yeah,
And so, people can go to your website, Tracked Out Adventures, right,
correct.
to book that trip, and
Yep.
the registration's open, I assume. How many spots do you have left?
It
Is it still pretty open, or is it getting tight now?
Actually, I don't have an update. I haven't looked, but yes,
Okay.
I do know we have some availability.
Awesome, awesome. And so that's in
Yeah.
you said in Utah, right? It's in the Salt Lake area, or is that
Yep.
where's that gonna be?
It's actually going to be southern Utah and St.
Southern
George.
Utah. Okay, nope,
Yes.
that'll be awesome. That's awesome. So
Yep.
great. Any other final thoughts before we wrap this up and tell everybody good
I'm
night?
Yeah, no, I'm good to go. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. And so, just kind of as a quick recap, guys, this is episode number one. Jessica Osborne of Tracked Out Adventures. Appreciate her coming on. And one of the things I haven't shared broadly with these new shows is my intent actually is, instead of my past shows have been sometimes an hour long, sometimes longer, really that 15 to 30-minute window is what I'm targeting. And hopefully that makes it easier for everybody to kind of be able to jump on, get to know somebody, watch the show, and get on to the next show. Because if they're like me, being a new motorcycler, a new Jeeper, what I find myself doing is doing a lot of encyclopedia for the old people, right? It's a lot of Google searching, encyclopedia searching, YouTube searching for, I want to learn about side-by-sides or Can-Ams, or I want to hear about tracked out adventures. And so I might be going through the search engine and looking things up here. And YouTube has been an amazing resource, and that's one of the reasons I've chosen it, as I've learned my new ropes and my new passions and hobbies, and hope somebody stumbles across this as well as some of the people who've been watching all along and enjoy it thoroughly. So drop it in the comments again. Let us know where you're watching from, and all the comments here as well as any shares out on social media where I've been tagged in it. I'll be watching for those, and we'll include you guys in our sweepstakes to be able to give away some awesome prizes. We got some goggles we're going to give away. So all right. Well, Jessica, once again, appreciate you being on. And I tell everybody at the end of every show, God bless you and live large. Have an amazing night.